The views expressed on this program are those of the commenters alone. They do not represent the views or opinions of Valley News Live, our parent company, or our advertisers.
Welcome back. Tonight in the Hot Box, live from Bismarck, the Chancellor of the North Dakota University System, Ham Shivani. Dr. Shivani, thanks so much for joining us. Let's get this record straight. A lot of news coming out about you. One of the things that sparked this media storm, if you will, is the fact that there was going to be an IT building built up on UND's campus. There were some changes made that showed that you were going to have an office suite. Now, did you dictate those changes, or was that the State Board of Higher Ed?
Well, Chris, I think it's premature because we explained it very clearly today to the Senate Appropriation Committee, and they were quite satisfied. And in fact, there was clear message, at least from Senator Greenberg, that we have cleared the air, and everything was cleared, and there was a great deal of this theatrical scene that we have seen in the past several days was based on misinformation, and so we cleared the air. No, I'm not going to be using any office. I was only asked for an office because that's the central that's Chancellor's office, kind of in terms of that building. IT is under Chancellor's domain and is not a UND building, is the NDUS building. And I asked for an office there because I have to visit my constituents, which is 2/3 of them are on the east side of state. And after I saw this, and there was no suite, there was no executive suite, it was just an office in a part of a suite. And I would be using it for a few days, and we cleared the air, and we made it very clear, and we move on. And by the way, I'm never going to use that building anymore. I'm going to be using other places.
We will be talking about
make sure my intention is to visit with people.
Well, we'll get to Senator Greenberg here in just a moment, Dr. Shivani. But I know recently on the radio, you had made the statement, and this isn't exactly it verbatim, but it's pretty darn close. You said that President Kelly, who's the president at UND, and this is part of the quote, that he threw you under the bus. Why would he do that?
Well, the question is that I think there was a probably misunderstanding that, the President Kelly was, sent me an email, and I'm sure it's in the public. And I would have preferred if he would have called me, and that's all about it. And I don't think we would have had to waste so much time around this issue if he would have called me and hear an explanation, and that would be over.
So let's talk about two things then, sort of in the same question. One is, again, why would he do that? Number two is, you've got to work with these presidents. You've been quoted from different people saying that 5 of the university presidents are unqualified to run those campuses. You've got to deal with these presidents on pretty much a daily basis. Is it the best leadership, in your opinion, to say, hey, this gentleman threw me under the bus?
Well, I'm not sure whether I have told them. I don't think I've ever used the direct quote of throw me under the bus. That's not what I said. I just didn't want to, when you said it in the beginning, I was just going to pass by it. But I have never said that President Kelly throw me under the bus. And even if he has sent me that email, that I would have preferred the phone call, and he could have just made a simple mistake, and I don't hold it against him or against anybody. People do things in a split second, and they don't mean it in a bad way, and so it's not that important. It's not important to me,
Dr. Shivani, you're right.
I have never said that he thrown me under the bus.
Senator Greenberg did actually say, hey, there was some misinformation about this IT building. The testimony helped clear that up. He did also say that he's going to go forward with this amendment to essentially set the appropriations in place to buy out your contract. Under any circumstances, would you accept a buyout?
Chris, no, I don't. And Chris, the question is a different issue. I have been given a very clear charge by State Board of Higher Education to build this system and take it to the next level. And as I have been on the record that we have excellent colleges and universities in this state. We have very good colleges and universities, but we don't have a system. And what and system means a unified set of rules and policies and regulations. System means an efficient system. System means that there are a set of matrix that everyone goes along, but et cetera, et cetera. So, and we don't have time to define the system. So that's what clearly the State Board of Higher Education has charged me. I'm doing exactly what the State Board of Higher Education asked me to do. Now, this entails change. Change is not accepted to everyone. Naturally, there are reactions towards change. And you have to look at it, I have been in your show and we've talked about it. In the past 7 months, we have made considerable amount of advancement and we have considerable amount of changes that we have made towards building the system. So naturally, that is not, settles very well with
Dr.
many
Shravani,
people.
I want to move on to another topic.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's a no, you would not accept the bio, but I also want to get to this. Senator Grinberg did send out a press release today that he announced he was going to put this amendment in place, and I'm going to quote this and get your thoughts on it, because it's not just him making these statements. Now, here's a gentleman who's a big backer of higher ed. He says, in my opinion, Chancellor Shravani's leadership style is in serious question, and his methods of campus communication have created an environment of fear and retaliation. In my 20 years of legislative service, I have never experienced such strong, widespread opinions of questionable leadership and mistrust. You've got Representative Kathy Hagen, Representative Martinson, several legislators making this sort of conversation, communication. I think the bottom line people that want to know is, what's going on here? Can you work with our state leaders?
Of course I can, and I've been working with a number of leaders. First of all, Senator Greenberg is very unkind, and I can't. There are a large number of legislators. I'm sure there are some that are going to have differences of opinion with me, and I respect that. But the question that there is no fear and there is no retaliation, if that's the impression that at least I don't know of, there has been nobody has ever been retaliated in. So there is no. So it's easy to. I can't comment on innuendos and ad hominem type comments. That's what it is. But as I mentioned earlier, that I wanted to, when you make changes, certain people are not happy, and it's going to be these are substantive changes, and we have to make that in order to really build the system and move it to the next level. And also, State Board of Higher Education wanted me to make these changes as speedily as possible and move it forward, because we were coming to a legislative session and we have evidence, we have products that we have delivered. There is a very clear plan that we have designed and we are going to implement, and it's been approved, Pathway to Student Success, which basically raises the standards. And so naturally, that has, I perfectly understand, any changes that you make will have resistance, and naturally that resistance will result to some kind of dramatic comments like that.
Dr. Shravani, thanks so much for your time. Obviously, this chapter, this saga is far from over. We will have you back on in the near future. Stay with us. Coming up in just a moment, Representative Dennis Johnson out of Devil Lake saying, hey, if you're going to get government assistance here in North Dakota, you need to get drug tested first. Do you feel that's a good idea or a not so good idea? He's next right here on 630 Point of View. And as always, go to our website, 630pov.com.